whiplash and concussion. And so this is definitely a wellness-based approach to helping your body recover from a traumatic injury. And this is important. Most people, 1 in 4, will experience a concussion in their lifetime. Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you haven't had a car accident yet, preferably won't, but there's still the good possibility that you will. And so having this information is going to be helpful to, all right, I should get checked, regardless of kind of how you feel after an injury. But 2, it's not just car accidents, it can be falls. So I've had people like working out in the yard when it gets icy and slip, fall, bam, hit their head, and then like kind of brush it off like, oh, I'm fine. And in fact, they actually had a concussion from that, or even a whiplash injury as well. And then sports injuries too. Yeah, let me get that. This is for you, by the way. So this will be good. Like you can keep that for future reference too on how to heal after you maybe have had an injury and how to mitigate the effects from a concussion. I'm going to be talking about more of those specifics in that handout. And then for many people too, the healing process when you've had an injury, and even what you're noticing too with yourself, can actually take months. And I usually tell people when you've had a traumatic injury, it'll take the minimum of a year for the body to recover from that. So the nervous system in the brain, when it gets injured, where you have whiplash, that's the slowest healing tissue. So most people, it's going to take at least a year to get back to pre-accident status. For some, it can take 2 or 3 even for the body to heal. I have a good example. I actually tore my elbow, and I didn't do anything besides rehab, get adjusted, but it took me about 2.5 years to get back to full strength. Yes. So depending on the injury, the body, it just takes time. It will heal eventually, is the good news. Now, here is the mechanism of what actually happens when you have a whiplash or concussion injury. So you'll have a rapid acceleration. So like, for example, you get hit from behind. That'll cause a rapid acceleration. And then you suddenly stop. So like the seatbelt will stop your body. And then you'll get this whip. And usually if it's fast enough, the brain will actually hit the skull. Yes, and so that's, Now, and again, it has to be a pretty quick acceleration, deceleration, but if the brain doesn't have enough time to stay floating in space, it'll hit the skull. So, and then what can happen is a concussion is kind of like a bruise, but it's worse than that too, because what will happen is it can create chemical imbalances in the brain cells themselves, spike inflammation, and then cause even like an energy crisis because the brain's having a hard time healing, and it's the master control system. So that mechanism, again, doesn't just happen in car accidents. Do you know where the most common cause of concussions is? It's okay if you don't.
I don't.
Okay.
I really thought the car.
Female sports, soccer.
They're using their heads. Makes sense.
Yes. So the most common place that we will actually see concussions is in young women soccer. Female sports in general actually has a higher incident of concussion. So a lot of people think, oh, male sports, football, rugby, they have lower incidences actually than female sports. And with females, it's usually not in a game, it's at practice. Yes. So that's important, I think, for anyone to know, like if they have engagement with any type of youth in your sphere of influence, is to try and help even them recognize, hey, you might have actually had a concussion or whiplash injury in practice. And it's something to take seriously because these things can have long-term ramifications on their health. And the other thing that people don't realize is they think just about the traumatic brain injury, but the other part of it too is that the neck will 9 times out of 10 get injured along with the brain. And so while the brain will heal a lot of times on its own without help, the neck part and getting that addressed is usually why people will have residuals and long-term problems from a traumatic brain injury. So you have, when you get a concussion, most of the time will also involve the whiplash, which is the injury to the neck. And that can affect the neck joints, the ligaments, the brain stem, because that's where the brain stem first comes down to the body, and then blood flow even to the brain as well. So that's where we'll look at not just the brain itself, but also then the neck when anyone's had a traumatic brain injury. So these are some of the most common signs of concussion. So physical, headaches, dizziness, neck pain, light sensitivity, cognitive, so like the ability to focus, memory issues, having that kind of brain fog, and then emotional, and this is some people don't realize, but when you have a TBI, a concussion, that can cause you to have mood swings, to have anxiety, depression, irritability, sleep issues as well. So I've had to help people like, hey, like don't be hard on yourself. You should be having these emotional mood swings right now because your brain has been injured in that traumatic injury. And then the cool thing though is the brain will heal as long as we support it properly. So it's over time, this what's called neuroplasticity. The brain from that injury will heal. It'll get new connections. So if any connections get distorted, it'll rebuild those, get energy metabolism, and reduce inflammation as well. So I'm going to go through some steps, and these are in your handouts too, of how to reduce inflammation. So one of the most important things that you can do is using anti-inflammatory nutrients. So even this is good stuff. These nutrients are just good for you too, and you're going through. So one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients is omega-3. Do you take any omega-3?
That's in salmon, right?
It's in fish.
I don't take a supplement.
Okay.
Do they really work? Like those kinds of supplements, do they really work?
I do. Especially with the omega-3 because you're getting like a concentrated dosage of that fish oil versus like it would take quite a bit of fish to get what you'll get in like a capsule of omega-3 fish oil. But the important thing is making sure it's cleaner, because if you like, not to razz on Walmart, but they usually don't sell quality omega-3.
That's why I wonder about the quality of this stuff.
Yes.
I've looked on the supplements before, and I'm just like, I'll take it so before too.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure about that.
Well, hey Liz, will you give Tiffany a pen? So I want you to write down this name brand. You can get it on Amazon, for example. I think Whole Foods carries it as well. Write down Nordic Naturals. Nordick. Nordic Naturals. And that is one brand of omega-3 fish oil that is high quality. And you'll get good absorption. The omega oil itself has not been denatured, and it will actually help with creating a proper inflammatory response and helping to reduce and promote healing. The brain is made up a lot of fat, and so getting good quality fat to help it to heal, to cut down on inflammation is important. So the omega-3 would be a good one to add even just to your regimen right now as you're working on healing. Turmeric, too, they've shown through research, is a very powerful nutrient for helping to heal. So if you're wanting higher quality stuff, like, and know that you can walk in, Whole Foods, Ozark Natural Foods, or Natural Grocers, those three usually carry higher quality things, and they vet a lot of what they're putting on their shelves. Ozark Natural Foods, 100%. Like they have a specific person that's in charge of like, okay, are these quality nutrients? Are what we're providing for our customers high quality? And they'll take things off their shelf if they figure out, oh, hey, this is not good.
It's like it's a grocery store.
Yep.
I saw the other one. I've been seeing the other one, but I don't know.
Yeah. So Ozark Natural Foods is downtown Fayetteville.
Okay.
It's at College in Lafayette. Yeah, and that's a local one. So it's what's called a cooperative grocery store, and they got good stuff there. They're a little further south, obviously.
I'll remember because I drank Ozark water.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been it for so many years because it's 100%
Exactly.
like natural spring water.
Yep. So magnesium glycinate is another one that I recommend. That can also help with sleep, calming the nervous system down. So another good thing to maybe add into your routine. Zinc, and then vitamin D. Another good thing to add is bone broth. Do you have any bone broth?
About that, like it's like you just buy the bone broth at Walmart, or like you just drink it out of the
You can.
Tan.
Yep.
Like I've seen the little ones in the healthier section.
Yes.
And then of course your big ones you stick with.
Right.
So you recommended the little ones in your healthier section.
Well, and those are going to be more concentrated, better quality than the ones that you're talking about for like cooking, and
Okay.
and they'll taste a little bit better. But they're really good, like drink straight up. I'll heat them up on the stove to good temperature, add a little sea salt, and it's great. It has collagen and other nutrients that help with promoting healing. And
I just saw this on Facebook. I like my natural stuff. The pink sea salt or the pink salt.
Himalayan sea
There's
salt.
like 80, you said it had 80 minerals that we need.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting
Yep.
what we need out of our table salt.
Oh yeah, table salt is basically zero trace minerals,
Okay.
and so all it is salt, sodium. The benefit of salt in its natural form is you're going to have all these other trace minerals that provide very good nutrition for your body, electrolytes. So that's I think I have electrolytes on the list here. Where do I have that? Yeah, add electrolytes. So that's a brand element. And drinking good quality electrolytes can also help with recovery and keeping the body hydrated as well. Yeah. So, and then sleep, getting enough sleep. Yes.
I get up at 3:20, 5 days a week for my job.
Oh, yeah.
To be at the super center at MLK at 4 a.m. So getting sleep, if I get off early enough, I go home and get a little nap like I did today.
Good.
But the 2 to 3 hour naps, it's a sacrifice, but I'm humming either way.
Right.
My base is important to me, and
I hear that.
I'm gonna see it through.
Yep. Good.
I'll sleep tonight.
Okay.
Try to go to bed early.
Yeah. Well, and the more that you can, like, as your body's healing too, prioritizing sleep, because this sleep is where your brain repairs itself, and it's the number one way to heal yourself is getting good rest. So 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep a night. So especially though, if you've had a trauma, getting good sleep after a trauma is ultra critical. So that's where, it helps to clear your metabolic waste, repair neurons, restores neurotransmitters. And so I talked, did you get to come to Sleep Talk?
I came to the last one about no screens.
Okay. Yeah, I got to remember what I talked about last time. Yeah, sleep well. Sleep well, yeah. So, and two, you could go back and review more of that. And for those that are watching us live or going back and rewatching this video, I would encourage you, if you want to find out more about how to have good sleep and prioritizing sleep, go back and watch our talk on sleeping well. There's way more tips than I'm going to give you in this, but like consistent bedtime, a dark room, no screens before bed, like you said. Another critical thing, and we talked about this, when you've had a concussion, a traumatic injury, most of the time you're going to have a whiplash and an injury to the neck. So making sure that you look after your neck post-traumatic injury is critical. And that's the thing that I find most people overlook is like, oh, my brain's hurt. Well, 9 times out of 10, your neck's also injured as well. And so getting chiropractic care, going through different gentle exercises, helping support your posture and nervous system regulation. Another important thing is gradual movement. And so you're even noticing, like with your care, we're trying to ease you into movement and helping your body to heal. So walking can be a great tool, walking 30 minutes a day. Now, do you walk a lot with your job? Okay, cool. So you can check that off the box, which is good. And movement, the reason movement's so important is this idea of motion is lotion. The more that you're moving the body, the more that actually helps it to heal and recover and repair. Now, an important thing I want to mention, though, is if at any point you're noticing movement is actually creating more issues, you got to let us know. Because there are cases where even like in a traumatic injury, sometimes movement is creating more pain, and that should not be. And so we have to evaluate things a little more specifically to get it where you can then move. But most of the time, movement is going to be critical for the body healing, recovering, and it stimulates the brain, helps to get more oxygen going. And then calming the nervous system. So after a concussion, many people get into this fight or flight mode where their body is just stressed constantly because of the injury. And so finding ways to help get the nervous system calmed down, doing deep breathing exercises. And I did a talk that you could go back and watch a couple weeks ago on Think Well. And so that was a lot on stress and how to help de-stress the body, tips and tricks and things that you can do on a regular basis to calm the nervous system down. So if you haven't gotten to watch that, you can go back on our YouTube video and watch that one. Prayer, meditation, just even reducing overall stimulation too can help calm the nervous system. And then one of my favorite ones that might help you too, if you're not taking the magnesium glycinate. So to help you with, maximizing the sleep that you are getting, the magnesium glycinate an hour before you go to bed will really help calm the nervous system down and get things into a better state where whatever amount of sleep that you're getting is more restful and beneficial to the body. Right, and I definitely, like, melatonin is one of those things I really try to keep people away from it. Yes, because the melatonin, most of the time your body produces it naturally, and if you supplement with it, sometimes that can even turn down the body's own production of melatonin. And then a lot of people too will notice when they supplement with it, while okay, I feel like I slept through the night, I still wake up, I don't feel rested because it put them too deep of a sleep. Because there needs to be that wave pattern where you're kind of lighter sleep and then your body goes deep, but it doesn't stay there very long, and then it comes back up. And so it's that wave pattern that you're looking for. And melatonin is one of those things that sometimes will just keep you deep, and then you're actually not resting because you're in that REM state, which you don't want to stay in for very long. Yeah.
How should I take magnesium? Is it like a supplement?
Yep. So there's a couple ways. Typically, magnesium glycinate is going to be in a capsule. Yeah. There's a different form of magnesium called magnesium citrate. That one comes in a powder, and that one is what's called natural calm. So most people respond better to glycinate, but for some people, citrate. And I think did I put glycinate on there for you? Did not put magnesium glycinate on there. Okay, I'll spell it for you. So magnesium, M-A-G, N-E-S-I-U-M, and then glycinate, G-L-Y, C-I-N-A-T-E.
We close.
Yep.
And it's a capsule.
Yes, a capsule.
Okay.
Yep. And then an hour before you go to bed. Great. So the big thing, and I hope if there's one takeaway, it's take any type of injury seriously. And I always recommend it's better to be safe than sorry. So if you feel like, hey, I might have been injured, even again, 5-mile-an-hour car accident, you slip and fell and landed on your back, or you slipped and fell and landed on your butt. All of those things are worth at least getting checked. Because I've had time and time again, people like regret, like, yeah, you got injured here, and I can even point back to that specific injury that they didn't necessarily feel bad at the time, but slowly progressed into a big issue. So I have people too that come in because they're like, I'm hurting. But if you're not hurting, that doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't an injury. That your body will adapt initially to the injury, kind of go on, and then it gets harder and harder for it to adapt to what happened previously. So any of these things, taking concussions, whiplash injuries seriously, getting it looked at, because it's way easier to fix it when it happens than waiting even a month. And they've shown that through research. Scar tissue starts to develop within 2 weeks of an injury. And so if it's like, okay, the closer we are to the actual timeline of the injury, the better long-term outcome and less residuals and problems that someone will have from something like that. And you were even mentioning, like, when you were a kid, that injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, like, I thought that, it would just always be that way, but I can heal.
Yep,
And that's
you
why
can heal.
I want to be corrected.
Amen. I love to hear that. Did you have any other questions about the information, what we went over?
I think you covered it.
Cool.
I think it's something I'll tell you later.
Okay, great. Well, wonderful. And my pleasure. And as you know, we're going through care. Yes. And those are all really good things that will help your body to heal. We're done.